Military. The military is the armed forces of a country.
I joined the military after I finished high school.
Scope. The scope of something is how many people or things it relates to.
Modern history has a wide scope.
Sinister. If something or someone is sinister, they are evil.
Bad guys in most movies have sinister laughs.
Starch. Starch is a substance that provides your body with energy and is found in foods such as wheat, potatoes, and rice.
Pasta is high in starch.
Sterile. When something is sterile, it is completely clean and free from germs.
The hospital room looked quite sterile.
Bachelor. A bachelor is an unmarried man.
Since he was a bachelor, Jason did his shopping by himself.
Low. If something is low, it is smaller than usual in amount, number, or degree.
The temperature gets very low in the winter.
Angle. An angle is the direction from which something is looked at.
The giraffe turned its head to see from another angle.
Text. Text is language used in communicating messages.
Spoken text has many features which are different from written text.
Upgrade. To upgrade something means to improve it or make it more efficient.
He upgraded to a real fancy car.
Psychotic. If someone is psychotic, they have a very serious mental illness.
The psychotic patient believed he saw things that weren't real.
Downtown. The downtown area is the center of most cities.
The downtown area is filled with many tall buildings.
Beach. The beach is a sandy or rocky place by the ocean.
The little girl built a sandcastle on the beach.
Forthcoming. If something is forthcoming, then it is about to happen in the future.
Some economists predicted that the forthcoming world economy would be severe.
Viable. When something is viable, it is capable of doing what it is intended to do.
Her method of solving the math problem seemed viable.
Narrate. To narrate a story means to write about it or read it aloud.
This story was written by John, but Aaron is narrating it to the crowd.
Crew. A crew is a group of workers.
My father has a crew that helps him build houses.
Prevail. To prevail means to be accepted or very common.
Unfortunately, injustice still prevails in the country's court system.
Landlord. A landlord is a man who rents property to a person.
The landlord collected everyone's rent money on the first day of every month.
Voluntary. When something is voluntary, it is done by choice, but is not required.
Many people attended the voluntary boat safety class.
Partiality. A partiality is a tendency to prefer one thing to another.
She has a partiality for walking to school instead of driving.
Mechanism. A mechanism is a part of a machine that performs a certain function.
I can't open my car door because the locking mechanism is broke.
Framework. A framework is a set of rules or ideas that people use to solve problems.
His ideas fit into the framework of a successful business plan.
Extract. To extract something means to remove it.
The dentist extracted the woman's damaged tooth and put in a fake one.
Airway. An airway is the passage by which air reaches a person's lungs.
Since he was sick, mucus would occasionally get stuck in his airway.
Commence. To commence something means to begin it.
His speech commenced with a thank you to all who had helped him succeed.
Coin. To coin is to create a new word or phrase that other people begin to use.
The coach coined the phrase, "There is no I in team."
Precise. If someone is precise, then they are exact and careful about their work.
The builder was very precise about where he placed the nails.
Normal. A normal thing is usual and not strange.
It is normal to wear school uniforms in private schools.
Almighty. The Almighty is a name for a god in a religion.
Before eating, they thanked the Almighty for their food.
Neighbor. A neighbor is a person who lives near you.
I like my neighbor because he's very friendly.
Media. Media is the different ways of entertaining and giving information to the public.
Many people like to express their opinions online using social media.
Content. To be content is to be happy and not want more.
The baby looked very content sitting on the floor.
Nectar. Nectar is a sweet liquid produced by flowers that bees and other insects collect.
Bees use nectar to make their honey.
Advent. An advent is the arrival or beginning of an important person, thing, or event.
During the advent of radio, very few programs actually played music.
Validate. To validate is to make someone feel that his or her ideas and feelings are respected.
Winning first prize will validate all of Tony's hard work.
Diploma. A diploma is a certificate proving that someone has completed their studies.
After 4 years of college, Mary finally had a diploma.
Minor. A minor problem is a very small and unimportant problem.
This is a minor problem.
Hygiene. Hygiene is the conditions or methods needed for health and cleanliness.
People who brush their teeth at least twice a day are practicing good hygiene.
Cycle. A cycle is a series of events that go in a circle from the end back to the beginning again.
They were caught in a cycle of poverty, lack of education, and unemployment.
Hygienic. If something is hygienic, then it is clean and unlikely to cause disease.
My sister works very hard to keep her entire home as hygienic as possible.
Inseparable. If two things are inseparable, they can't be separated.
Denise and Diana have been inseparable since they first met.
Mainstream. The mainstream is what is considered normal and accepted by most people.
Before punk rock music became part of the mainstream, only a few people liked it.
Expel. To expel someone means to force them to leave a place.
Since he would not follow the rules, the principal had to expel the student.
Definitive. If something is definitive, then it is the most official.
This library has the definitive collection of books on ancient Egypt.
Convince. To convince someone means to make that person sure of something.
She convinced me to buy the house.
Laughter. Laughter is the sound produced by laughing about something funny.
Susan's joke made her classmates burst into laughter.
Job. Your job is the work you do to earn money.
He now has a high-paying job.
Sterile. When something is sterile, it is completely clean and free from germs.
The hospital room looked quite sterile.
Substance. A substance is a particular type of solid, liquid, or gas.
Arsenic is a poisonous substance.
Found. To found something on an idea or principle is to base it on that idea.
This is founded on the belief that all people are created equal.
Slope. A slope is ground that is not flat.
The slope to the top of the mountain was very steep.
Upgrade. To upgrade something means to improve it or make it more efficient.
He upgraded to a real fancy car.
Indicate. When we indicate something, we show or point out our thoughts or plans.
They indicated that things would be likely to improve soon.
Geology. Geology is the study of the Earth's natural structures and how they change.
Because he studied geology, he knew how the mountains were formed.
Viable. When something is viable, it is capable of doing what it is intended to do.
Her method of solving the math problem seemed viable.
Circuit. A circuit is a piece of an electronic device that allows electricity to flow.
Be very careful not to shock yourself when fixing an electrical circuit.
Affluent. If someone is affluent, they are wealthy.
People in the city are usually more affluent than people in the country.
Ideology. An ideology is a system of belief.
Within the teacher's ideology, there was a belief in the value of parent participation.
Barn. A barn is a large farm building that houses crops, equipment, and animals.
My grandparents keep hay in their red barn.
Moreover. Moreover is used to introduce information that adds to or supports what has previously been said.
Marianne likes to walk to work to save money. Moreover, it is good exercise.
Clap. To clap means to hit one's hands together to express pleasure or get attention.
After the speech, everyone in the crowd clapped their hands for the speaker.
Airway. An airway is the passage by which air reaches a person's lungs.
Since he was sick, mucus would occasionally get stuck in his airway.
Voluntary. When something is voluntary, it is done by choice, but is not required.
Many people attended the voluntary boat safety class.
Fraud. Fraud is the crime of gaining money by lying or by tricking people.
Experts say that credit card fraud increases around the holidays.
Inhale. To inhale means to take air or a smell into the lungs.
The camper inhaled the cool and fresh mountain air and felt relaxed.
Personality. Your personality is what you are like and how you behave.
John has a bad personality.
Susceptible. If one is susceptible to something like a disease, they are easily harmed by it.
Not eating enough vegetables makes you more susceptible to getting sick.
Commodity. A commodity is something that can be bought or sold.
Fran's uncle made most of his money trading commodities.
Claim. To claim means to say that something is true.
He claimed to know why the country's laws were weak.
Invoke. To invoke something is to mention it to support an argument or ask for help.
Before going into battle, the soldier invoked the name of his god for protection.
Prompt. To prompt is to cause someone to do something.
The tight deadline will prompt the employee to work very hard.
Advent. An advent is the arrival or beginning of an important person, thing, or event.
During the advent of radio, very few programs actually played music.
Almighty. The Almighty is a name for a god in a religion.
Before eating, they thanked the Almighty for their food.
Restrict. To restrict something is to limit it and prevent it from getting bigger.
The club restricted the amount of members.
Civilian. A civilian is someone who is not in the military.
It was Todd's job to keep civilians from entering the army facility.
Material. A material is what is used to make something.
Brick is a good material for building houses.
Novelty. A novelty is something that is new, original, or strange.
Ice cream was a novelty for him since he rarely had any.
Status. Status is the position of something or someone in relation to others.
She had achieved the status of being the smartest girl in the class.
Span. To span is to spread across an amount of time or space.
His work at the bakery has spanned 20 years.
Albeit. Albeit means although. It is made of 3 parts: all, though, be, it.
She was happy, albeit briefly.
Enroll. To enroll in something is to put one's name on a list as a member of a group.
The students had to enroll in the class 1 semester in advance.
Outmoded. If something is outmoded, then it is no longer in fashion or use.
Black and white television sets are outmoded.
Cycle. A cycle is a series of events that go in a circle from the end back to the beginning again.
They were caught in a cycle of poverty, lack of education, and unemployment.
Communicate. When we communicate with others, we talk or write to them.
He was unable to communicate his feelings clearly.
Impulse. An impulse is a sudden, thoughtless urge to do something.
Because of the scary noise, she had an impulse to run somewhere and hide.
Refine. To refine something is to make it better by making changes.
The principal refined his method of controlling students over the years.
Lentil. Lentils are very small beans that people cook and eat.
Danny made her special soup with lentils when her husband was sick.
Personalize. To personalize something means to design it to meet a person's unique needs.
He personalized the woman's exercises to give her a better workout.
Definitive. If something is definitive, then it is the most official.
This library has the definitive collection of books on ancient Egypt.
Found. To found something on an idea or principle is to base it on that idea.
This is founded on the belief that all people are created equal.
Emit. To emit is to send out gas, heat, light, sound, etc.
This iron emits steam.
Radioactive. If something is radioactive, then it lets out or is related to radiation.
Radioactive states can be very bad for anyone's health.
Substantially. If something changes substantially, it changes a lot.
The price of the apartment went up substantially.
Stun. To stun someone means to make them unable to speak due to surprise or shock.
Tim fell off the swing and was too stunned to cry.
Psychiatric. If something is psychiatric, then it is related to mental illness or its treatment.
The doctor said the patient might have a psychiatric problem.
Elite. Elite means of or from a high-level group.
Only an elite group was allowed membership into the club.
Biography. A biography is an account of someone's life that is written by someone else.
We read a biography about Charles Darwin in science class.
Align. To align is to support a political group, country, or person that you agree with.
The crowd seemed to align themselves with the protesters.
Skeptic. A skeptic is a person who disagrees with particular claims that are generally thought to be true.
Kevin is a skeptic because he never believes anyone or anything.
Psychiatry. Psychiatry is the study and treatment of mental illness.
Studying psychiatry has taught me a lot about mental illness.
Torture. Torture is action that causes physical or mental pain.
Greg thought that writing the essay was torture.
Ideology. An ideology is a system of belief.
Within the teacher's ideology, there was a belief in the value of parent participation.
Confine. To confine something is to keep it in one place.
The elephant is confined to a cage in the zoo.
Automate. To automate something means to have machines or computers do the work.
When the bank automated, it started installing ATM machines.
Inhale. To inhale means to take air or a smell into the lungs.
The camper inhaled the cool and fresh mountain air and felt relaxed.
Authorize. To authorize something means to give permission for it.
The mayor authorized the construction of a new statue in the park.
Reflex. A reflex is an unconscious action in which a body part responds to an event.
There was a reflex when the doctor hit his knee with a rubber hammer.
Festive. When something is festive, it is happy and related to a party or celebration.
Dean's favorite part of Christmas is the festive clothing that people wear.
Conquest. A conquest is an event by which one country takes over another country.
After the conquest, the people of the small city had no freedom.
Corrupt. If someone is corrupt, they break the law for money or fame.
The corrupt policemen didn't arrest the man because he gave them money.
Savage. If things or people are savage, they are very violent or cruel.
Wild animals are very savage when defending their babies.
Seizure. A seizure is a sudden condition in which the body loses control and shakes.
Bright flashing lights can cause seizures in children.
Invoke. To invoke something is to mention it to support an argument or ask for help.
Before going into battle, the soldier invoked the name of his god for protection.
Academy. An academy is a special type of school.
There are many courses taught at the academy that I go to.
Garbage. Garbage is waste material, like unwanted or spoiled food, bottles, paper, etc.
The boy cleaned up the garbage around his house.
Dispose. To dispose of something means to get rid of it.
He disposed of the can by throwing it into the recycle bin.
Novelty. A novelty is something that is new, original, or strange.
Ice cream was a novelty for him since he rarely had any.
Molecule. A molecule is the smallest basic unit that makes up a physical substance.
A tiny drop of water is made up of many billions of molecules of water.
Outmoded. If something is outmoded, then it is no longer in fashion or use.
Black and white television sets are outmoded.
Personalize. To personalize something means to design it to meet a person's unique needs.
He personalized the woman's exercises to give her a better workout.
Psychiatric. If something is psychiatric, then it is related to mental illness or its treatment.
The doctor said the patient might have a psychiatric problem.
Reflex. A reflex is an unconscious action in which a body part responds to an event.
There was a reflex when the doctor hit his knee with a rubber hammer.
Psychiatry. Psychiatry is the study and treatment of mental illness.
Studying psychiatry has taught me a lot about mental illness.
Seizure. A seizure is a sudden condition in which the body loses control and shakes.
Bright flashing lights can cause seizures in children.
Publicity. Publicity is public attention given to someone or something by the media.
She received a lot of publicity after her performance in the film.
Disclose. To disclose something means to tell it to someone else.
John came home late, so he had to disclose his activities to his wife.
Plate. A plate is a flat, round thing that you put food on.
I put my plate down so I could put some food on it.
Minimum. The minimum is the smallest amount.
What is the minimum temperature in winter in this area?
Session. A session is a meeting at a regular time in order to discuss and solve an issue.
Every 3 months, the managers met in a session to discuss regional sales.
Marshal. To marshal a group means to assemble them in order.
The students were marshaled outside and put into groups.
Rupture. To rupture means to tear or burst open.
Sarah put too much water into the balloon and it ruptured.
Keen. If someone is keen, they are intelligent.
Only a keen student could have solved that math problem.
Equivalent. An equivalent is an amount or value that is the same as another amount or value.
I worked the equivalent of 60 hours this week.
Allocate. To allocate something means to put it aside for a certain purpose or person.
The government allocated $100 million to aid the disaster relief effort.
Weak. If someone is weak, they are not strong and healthy.
She is still weak after the illness.
Barrier. A barrier is something that blocks a path or way.
The Great Wall was a barrier between China and its enemies.
Dynamics. The dynamics of a situation are the way that parts of it affect each other.
A good psychologist needs to know a lot about the dynamics of brain disorders.
Pursuit. When you are in pursuit of something, you are chasing it.
The pursuit of happiness is a basic human right.
Appetizing. When food is appetizing, it looks and smells very good.
The appetizing plate of cookies was gone in half an hour.
Compel. To compel someone to do something means to force them to do it.
Traffic signs compel drivers to drive safely.
Risk. A risk is a chance of something bad happening.
I took a risk and climbed the snowy mountain.
Else. If you talk about something else, you talk about something different.
I wanted a bike for my birthday, but I got something else.
Unique. A unique person or thing is not like others.
Her dog is unique. I've never seen one quite like it.
Assign. When you assign work, you give that work to particular people.
I was assigned the job of making sure everyone had plenty to drink.
Acute. When a bad thing is acute, it is very severe and intense.
When she fell out of the tree, the girl felt an acute pain in her arm.
Grind. To grind is to break something into small pieces or powder.
We grind wheat to make flour.
Immune. When someone is immune to a disease, they cannot be affected by it.
Children usually get shots to make them immune to certain diseases.
Leading. When something is leading, it is the most advanced or best.
Teresa is the leading expert on brain surgery for dogs.
Cavity. A cavity is a hole or space in something.
There was a small cavity in the wall of the cave where an animal lived.
Advocate. To advocate a plan or idea is to support or suggest it in public.
The group advocated increased spending on education and schools.
Envious. When someone is envious, they want something that another person has.
They were envious of their neighbor's front yard.
Greet. To greet someone means to meet and welcome that person.
When my friend came over, I greeted him at the door.
Year. A year is a period of 365 days, or 12 months.
You become 1 year older every birthday.
Clockwise. If something moves clockwise, it moves in a circle in the same direction as a clock.
Turn the screw clockwise to tighten it.
Permission. Permission means the act of allowing some action.
I have permission to drive my mom's car.
Ancestor. An ancestor is a family member from the past.
My ancestors came from Germany.
Sell. To sell is to give something to someone in exchange for money.
This man's job is to sell houses.
Arise. To arise is to happen.
Difficulties arose with his computer because it was old.
Concentric. When circles or rings are concentric, they have the same center.
The target was a series of concentric circles.
Sink. To sink into something is to slowly fall into it.
The boat had a hole in it, and it sank into the ocean.
Astronomy. Astronomy is the study of the stars and planets.
Harold loved looking at the stars, so he decided to study astronomy.
Transition. A transition is a process where there is a change from one form to another.
The weather gets colder during the transition from summer to autumn.
Garden. A garden is an area where people grow plants.
The garden is very bright and colorful in the spring.
Courtesy. Courtesy is the excellence of manners or social conduct.
Jenna always behaves with great courtesy when people visit her home.
Shut. To shut something means to close it tightly.
Please shut the door. The air outside is cold.
Tissue. A tissue is a soft piece of paper people use to wipe their noses.
There was a box of tissue on the table.
Hole. A hole is a hollow space in something solid.
They made a big hole in the wall.
Differentiate. To differentiate things or people is to show the difference between them.
It was hard to differentiate between the identical twins.
Crisp. When food is crisp, it is hard, or has a hard surface in a way that is pleasant.
My favorite snack is a bag of crisp, delicious potato chips.
Session. A session is a meeting at a regular time in order to discuss and solve an issue.
Every 3 months, the managers met in a session to discuss regional sales.
Frantic. If people or things are frantic, they behave in a wild way because they are frightened.
The cat became frantic when I tried to give it a bath.
Surgeon. A surgeon is a doctor who is trained to do surgery.
The surgeon operated on the old man's heart.
Rot. To rot is to slowly get softer and become destroyed.
The old log began to rot in the forest.
Wait. To wait is to stay in a place until an expected event happens.
She has to wait for the airplane to arrive.
Discord. Discord is disagreement or fighting.
There was much discord between the experts on the talk show.
Process. A process is the steps to take to do something.
Making a cake is a long process.
Appetizing. When food is appetizing, it looks and smells very good.
The appetizing plate of cookies was gone in half an hour.
Short. A short thing is not long or not tall.
The days are short in the winter.
Allocate. To allocate something means to put it aside for a certain purpose or person.
The government allocated $100 million to aid the disaster relief effort.
Rigid. When rules or systems are rigid, they are severe because they cannot be changed.
Societies often have rigid rules about the way that people are supposed to act.
Task. A task is a piece of work to be done that is usually difficult.
My task for the weekend was to clean the entire backyard.
Creep. To creep is to move quietly and slowly.
The cat slowly crept down the tree.
Assign. When you assign work, you give that work to particular people.
I was assigned the job of making sure everyone had plenty to drink.
Generate. To generate something means to cause it to develop or begin.
The mayor promised to generate new jobs and programs to help the poor.
Deviate. To deviate is to move away from your proper course.
Very few deviate much from the average.
Race. A race is a contest to see who is the fastest.
Paul is a fast runner, so he easily won the race.
Cavity. A cavity is a hole or space in something.
There was a small cavity in the wall of the cave where an animal lived.
Light. Light is a form of energy or brightness that makes it possible to see something.
I will turn on the light so that you can see.
Disrupt. To disrupt something or someone is to prevent them from working.
The loud crash disrupted the class lecture.
Item. An item is a single, separate piece.
There were some items of clothing found at the crime scene.
Crowd. A crowd is a large group of people who are together in one place.
The crowd waved to the camera.
Vanish. To vanish is to go away suddenly.
All the passengers vanished from the train station.
Couple. A couple is made of two things that go together.
There were a couple of problems I had to solve.
Erroneous. When something is erroneous, it is incorrect or only partly correct.
The child held the erroneous belief that time machines were real.
Clockwise. If something moves clockwise, it moves in a circle in the same direction as a clock.
Turn the screw clockwise to tighten it.
Interchange. An interchange of ideas between people is a discussion of each person's idea.
There was an interchange of ideas between the groups.
Swear. To swear means to promise to do something.
I will put my hand on the Bible and swear to do my best for the country.
Permanence. The permanence of something is its ability to last forever.
Poor results threaten the permanence of the new system.
Bone. A bone is a hard part of the body.
I brought home a nice bone for my dog.
Sequence. A sequence is a number of events or things that come one after another.
The dominoes fell in a sequence of one after another.
Concentric. When circles or rings are concentric, they have the same center.
The target was a series of concentric circles.
Multicultural. When something is multicultural, it relates to many different cultures.
Everyone was welcomed to attend the multicultural celebration.
Contain. To contain is to hold or have something.
I have to find something to contain these apples.
Refrigerate. To refrigerate something means to make it cold.
Supermarkets refrigerate fruit to make it last long.
Athlete. An athlete is a person who plays sports.
Some athletes can play many sports very well.
Crisp. When food is crisp, it is hard, or has a hard surface in a way that is pleasant.
My favorite snack is a bag of crisp, delicious potato chips.
Courtesy. Courtesy is the excellence of manners or social conduct.
Jenna always behaves with great courtesy when people visit her home.
Accuse. To accuse someone of something is to blame them for doing it.
She accused her brother of breaking her computer.
Omission. An omission is something that has been left out or not done.
Mike was upset because of the omission of his name during the ceremony.
fragile. When people or things are fragile, they are not strong and can be damaged easily.
Fragile glassware was carefully packed into boxes.
Multitude. A multitude of things or people is a very large number of them.
A multitude of people were waiting at the airport.
Discord. Discord is disagreement or fighting.
There was much discord between the experts on the talk show.
Mineral. A mineral is a type of substance found in the earth.
Rocks are made up of different kinds of minerals.
Best. The best person or thing is better than all the others.
I got the best score on the math test.
Oversee. To oversee something means to make sure that it is being done properly.
His job was to oversee the progress of the construction project.
Chase. You chase people when you run after them and try to catch them.
I was chased by a dog.
Skip. To skip something is to not do it.
He skipped work to get more sleep.
Illusion. An illusion is something that looks real but doesn't actually exist.
Some pictures create an illusion for the eyes.
Potential. Potential means capable of being, but not yet actual or real.
I've thought of some potential problems with your idea.
Pierce. To pierce something means to make a hole in it using a sharp object.
The arrow pierced the target in the very center.
Absorb. To absorb a liquid means to take it inside.
He used a sponge to absorb the water on the floor.
Catch. To catch is to grab or get something.
Did you catch the ball during the baseball game?
Utility. A utility is a business that supplies services, such as water or electricity.
If you don't pay the utilities, you may have your electricity turned off.
Differ. To differ is to not be the same as another person or thing.
I differ from my brother. He is short, while I am tall.
Select. When you select something, you carefully choose it.
They had to select textbooks for each class.
Generate. To generate something means to cause it to develop or begin.
The mayor promised to generate new jobs and programs to help the poor.
Interior. An interior is the inside of something.
They looked at the interior of the box.
Taste. A taste is the flavor something makes in your mouth.
The taste of the fruit was sweet.
Predominant. If something is predominant, then it is the most important, common, or strongest.
Before cars were invented, horses were the predominant method of travel.
Inferior. An inferior thing is not as good as something else.
Cars built 100 years ago are inferior to ones built today.
Structure. The structure involves the shape and organization of the parts of a building or group.
There are big differences in family structure in different cultures.
Item. An item is a single, separate piece.
There were some items of clothing found at the crime scene.
Circumstance. A circumstance is an event that makes a situation what it is.
There were many circumstances behind their success, like hard work.
Inadvertent. When an action is inadvertent, it is done without realizing what you are doing.
She made an inadvertent error when she knocked over the nail polish.
Shelf. A shelf is a place on a wall where you put things.
I keep my clothes on a shelf in my closet.
Absence. Absence is the state of something being away.
There is an absence of sand in the hourglass.
Interchange. An interchange of ideas between people is a discussion of each person's idea.
There was an interchange of ideas between the groups.
Visual. Visual relates to seeing.
The visual displays were very attractive.
Gender. Gender is a category that describes being either a boy or a girl.
Do you know the gender of her new baby?
Mariner. A mariner is a sailor.
The old mariner used his telescope to find the shore.
Multicultural. When something is multicultural, it relates to many different cultures.
Everyone was welcomed to attend the multicultural celebration.
Neither. You use neither to connect two negative possibilities.
Neither the path on the left nor the path on the right will lead us home.
Suffer. To suffer is to feel pain.
Her headache made her suffer all day.
Omission. An omission is something that has been left out or not done.
Mike was upset because of the omission of his name during the ceremony.
Oversee. To oversee something means to make sure that it is being done properly.
His His job was to oversee the progress of the construction project.
Pierce. To pierce something means to make a hole in it using a sharp object.
The arrow pierced the target in the very center.
Select. When you select something, you carefully choose it.
They had to select textbooks for each class.
Visual. Visual relates to seeing.
The visual displays were very attractive.
Structure. The structure involves the shape and organization of the parts of a building or group.
There are big differences in family structure in different cultures.
Snake. A snake is an animal with a long, thin body and no legs.
Be careful of the snake in the tree.
Stair. Stairs are the things that are used to walk up or down in a building.
You can take the stairs to the second floor.
Technique. A technique is a way of doing something.
There are a lot of teaching techniques that are well supported by research.
Purpose. A purpose is the reason that you do something.
The purpose of exercising is to get into shape.
Wavy. When something is wavy, it is not straight, but has a series of curves.
The child drew wavy lines all over the piece of paper.
Bloom. To bloom is to produce an open flower.
The white daisies were about to bloom.
Expect. If you expect something to happen, you believe it will happen.
I expect the bus to be here very soon.
Protocol. Protocol is a system of rules and customs that guides how things are done.
The introduction of the guests followed the normal protocol.
Style. Your style is the way you do things.
Her clothes were all in the latest style.
Conversion. Conversion is the act of changing something into a different state or form.
The city discussed the conversion of the parking lot into a skateboard park.
Double. Double means twice as much or twice as many.
I paid almost double the amount for that shirt.
Image. The image of something is a picture of it.
The image of her eye was very clear.
Attire. Attire is nice or special clothing.
Everyone wore their best attire to the president's daughter's wedding.
Mend. To mend something means to fix it when it is broken or damaged.
Mother mended the rip in my pants with a piece of cloth.
Cram. To cram things means to put them into a place that can barely contain them.
He crammed all of his shirts into the top drawer of the dresser.
Equation. An equation is a math operation to determine the value of something.
I used the Pythagorean theorem to solve the equation.
Pad. A pad is a thick piece of soft material used to protect or clean things.
Football players wear shoulder pads to keep them safe.
Rapidly. Rapidly means happening very fast.
The train moved rapidly on the tracks.
Envy. To envy someone is to wish that you had something that other person has.
Sally envied the happy couple.
Defer. To defer means to arrange for an action to happen at a later time.
The girl was very sleepy, so she chose to defer her bath until morning.
Diverge. To diverge is to become different or to follow a different direction.
The road diverged into two paths that led to our houses.
Experience. To experience is to do or see something or have something happen to you.
Going to the concert was the best thing I have ever experienced.
Always. Always means that something happens all the time.
They always brush their teeth in the morning.
Substitute. To substitute something or someone means to have them take the place of another.
When I ran out of juice, I had to substitute water to drink in the morning.
Export. To export products means to sell them to other countries.
The United States exports many cereals and grains.
Stranded. If someone is stranded, they are prevented from leaving a place.
When the plane left, my sister and I were stranded in China.
Personnel. Personnel are employees in a business.
When business increased, we had to hire more personnel.
Feminine. If something is feminine, then it has qualities that are commonly related to women.
Many of the older people thought his long hair made him look too feminine.
Devote. To devote time to something means to spend a lot of time doing it.
She devotes 2 hours a day to playing the piano.
Fume. Fumes are unhealthy smoke and gases that are made by fires or chemicals.
The engine put unpleasant, black fumes into the air.
Spoil. To spoil is to rot or to make bad.
We left the fruit out too long, and it spoiled.
Steady. Steady shows that someone or something does not change much.
The problem was hard, but she remained steady and solved it.
Homogeneous. If something is homogeneous, it is made up of things which are all the same.
All of the houses on Victor's block were boring and homogeneous.
Glory. Glory is the importance, magnificence, or specialness of something.
They enjoyed the glory of the beautiful sunset.
Habitual. When something is habitual, it is a behavior that a person usually does or has.
The man was a habitual liar who was incapable of being honest with anyone.
Product. A product is something grown or made in a factory in order to be sold.
There's no room for even one more product in Melissa's bag.
Consume. To consume something means to eat or drink it.
Jack consumed a whole plate of spaghetti.
Certify. To certify something means to confirm that its results are true.
The photograph on her passport certified that she was indeed Jolene Sawyer.
Zone. A zone is an area that has different qualities from the ones around it.
Firefighters often work in danger zones.
Justify. To justify something means to show or prove that it is necessary.
The government tried to justify its decision to bring the country into a war.
Onset. The onset of something unpleasant is the beginning of it.
At the onset of the battle, the enemy wasn't prepared for such a large attack.
Render. To render something means to make it become something else.
His report was rendered unimportant by the release of new information.
Festival. A festival is an event that is held to celebrate a particular thing.
I heard the song at the music festival in London.
Delight. Delight is a feeling of being very happy with something.
He felt such delight after getting a promotion at work.
Notwithstanding. We use notwithstanding when we want to show that although something has been done, it is not enough. A similar term is in spite of.
Notwithstanding your objections, we have decided to move forward with the project.
Compile. To compile things means to collect a variety of them into a group.
She compiled a list of people who she wanted to attend her birthday party.
Intent. An intent is a plan to do something.
Her intent is to visit Italy next summer.
Quiet. If something is quiet, it does not make much sound.
The man told the children to be quiet.
Wavy. When something is wavy, it is not straight, but has a series of curves.
The child drew wavy lines all over the piece of paper.
Humane. If something is humane, then it is good and kind.
Helping build homes for poor people is very humane.
Conversion. Conversion is the act of changing something into a different state or form.
The city discussed the conversion of the parking lot into a skateboard park.
Output. Output is the amount of something that a person or thing produces.
The boss hired more workers to increase the factory's output of products.
Cram. To cram things means to put them into a place that can barely contain them.
He crammed all of his shirts into the top drawer of the dresser.
Fantasy. A fantasy is a pleasant situation that people think about but is unlikely to happen.
Becoming an astronaut is a fantasy shared by many children.
Mood. Your mood is the way you are feeling.
My boss is in a really bad mood today.
Smallpox. Smallpox is a disease that causes tiny bumps on the skin and high fevers.
When she saw the tiny bumps, she thought her son might have smallpox.
Pledge. To pledge means to make a promise to do something.
Her mother pledged that she would find her daughter's lost kitten.
Senate. A senate is a part of the government in some countries.
Everybody liked Caroline and chose her to speak for them in the Senate.
Overpopulation. Overpopulation is the state of having too many people in an area.
The organization is concerned with the overpopulation of the world.
Enlarge. To enlarge something means to make it bigger.
The classrooms were enlarged over the summer to make room for more students.
Drain. A drain is a pipe that carries away water from a building, such as in a kitchen.
The water in the sink goes down the drain as you wash your hands.
Greenhouse. A greenhouse is a small glass building that is used to grow plants.
We have a small greenhouse in our backyard where we grow plants.
Label. A label is a tag that tells about something.
The label on the back of your shirt will tell you what size it is.
Patent. A patent is a right to be the only person allowed to make or sell a new product.
He quickly established a patent for his brilliant invention.
Defer. To defer means to arrange for an action to happen at a later time.
The girl was very sleepy, so she chose to defer her bath until morning.
Raft. A raft is a flat kind of boat.
He sailed across the Pacific Ocean on a raft.
Unrest. Unrest is a state of anger about something among the people in a place.
High taxes caused much of the unrest that led to the Revolutionary War.
Dynamic. When people are dynamic, they are lively and have creative ideas.
The new dynamic employee came up with a good way to juggle his workload.
Gross. If something is gross, then it is disgusting.
The food was so gross that the dog couldn't eat it without feeling sick.
Export. To export products means to sell them to other countries.
The United States exports many cereals and grains.
Penalize. To penalize someone means to punish him or her.
The team was penalized when they broke the rules.
Coherent. The parts of a coherent plan fit well together.
This was a coherent program for solving the flooding problem.
Fume. Fumes are unhealthy smoke and gases that are made by fires or chemicals.
The engine put unpleasant, black fumes into the air.
Habitual. When something is habitual, it is a behavior that a person usually does or has.
The man was a habitual liar who was incapable of being honest with anyone.
Curb. To curb something means to prevent it from happening or increasing.
She curbed her anger by listening to a relaxing song.
Federation. A federation is a group of states or businesses working for a common cause.
The United Nations is a federation designed to prevent war, disease, and famine.
Revolve. To revolve around something is to keep it as the main feature or focus.
My life revolves around sports.
Petroleum. Petroleum is a liquid natural resource from which many fuels are made.
The petroleum at that factory is used to make gasoline.
Justify. To justify something means to show or prove that it is necessary.
The government tried to justify its decision to bring the country into a war.
Excess. An excess is an amount of something that is more than needed or wanted.
Because it never got cold that winter, many stores had an excess of coats.
Funeral. A funeral is a ceremony that takes place after a person dies.
They had a funeral for the soldier who died during the war.
Transplant. A transplant is an operation in which a damaged part of one's body is replaced.
The sick child needed a heart transplant to live.
Puzzle. A puzzle is something that is hard to understand.
The question was a puzzle to him.
Region. A region is a large area of land usually based on some common feature.
This is the wheat-growing region of the country.
Load. To load is to put objects into something.
The man loaded the boxes into a truck.
Hierarchy. A hierarchy is a system of things or people ranked one above the other.
Everyone knows where they fit in the hierarchy.
Center. The center of something is the middle of it.
The center of a dartboard is the most important spot.
Diagnose. To diagnose someone means to identify the medical condition they have.
Several of the children were diagnosed with the flu.
Scrap. A scrap of something is a small amount of it.
Chris liked to use many scraps of paper when thinking up ideas.
Notwithstanding. We use notwithstanding when we want to show that although something has been done, it is not enough. A similar term is in spite of.
Notwithstanding your objections, we have decided to move forward with the project.
Output. Output is the amount of something that a person or thing produces.
The boss hired more workers to increase the factory's output of products.
Latitude. The latitude of a place is its distance from the equator.
The device was able to tell the traveler his exact latitude.
Gloom. Gloom is a state of almost complete darkness or sadness.
In the gloom of the morning, it was difficult to see the boat on the lake.
Collaborate. To collaborate means to work together on something.
When they collaborated, they managed to finish their chores early.
Prophecy. A prophecy is a prediction about what will happen in the future.
Some people believe that prophecies are actually true.
Overpopulation. Overpopulation is the state of having too many people in an area.
The organization is concerned with the overpopulation of the world.
Sector. A sector is a part of a country's economy in a specific type of industry.
We learned about just a few of the factories within the manufacturing sector.
Individual. An individual is a single member of a group.
Each individual is responsible for themselves.
Ashore. If something goes ashore, it goes from the water to the land.
After a long day of fishing, Glenn pulled his boat ashore so it wouldn't float away.
Devoid. When something or someone is devoid of a thing, they are missing it.
The movie was devoid of any violence, so it was a perfect movie for the family.
Patent. A patent is a right to be the only person allowed to make or sell a new product.
He quickly established a patent for his brilliant invention.
Vanity. Vanity is excessive pride or love of one's own appearance or things one has done.
Her vanity won't allow her to pass a mirror without looking at herself.
Subscribe. To subscribe to something is to agree with it.
She subscribed to the view that musical education should be kept in schools.
Contradict. To contradict means to state the opposite of what someone else has said.
Ken was always fighting with his little sister because she kept contradicting him.
Step. To step is to walk.
Be careful where you step.
Morale. Morale is the amount of hope that people have during a difficult situation.
To improve our family's morale, Mom suggested going on a picnic.
Pioneer. A pioneer is a person who is the first to discover or be involved in something.
He was a pioneer of computer programming.
Subsist. To subsist means to have the food, water, and money needed to stay alive.
Some people are forced to subsist on only a few dollars a month.
Prohibit. To prohibit something means to not allow it.
She prohibited the students from speaking until their work was done.
Transfer. To transfer something means to move it from one place to another.
The family transferred the groceries from the shopping cart to the car.
Tobacco. Tobacco is a plant whose leaves are smoked, such as in cigarettes.
The tobacco in cigarettes is bad for you.
Needy. If someone is needy, they are very poor.
After he lost his job, he became very needy.
Suspend. To suspend something means to delay or stop it from happening for a while.
The oil company suspended production until it was sure the factory was safe.
Tenant. A tenant is a person who rents property from a landlord.
The new tenants moved into the house across the street.
Penalize. To penalize someone means to punish him or her.
The team was penalized when they broke the rules.
Senior. A senior person is older or more experienced.
Because he got his job first, Bob is the senior chef.
Absurd. If something or someone is absurd, they are ridiculous.
That group of people making animal noises sounds completely absurd.
Petroleum. Petroleum is a liquid natural resource from which many fuels are made.
The petroleum at that factory is used to make gasoline.
Craze. A craze is a brief and popular activity or object.
Wearing bright red socks was a craze when I was in high school.
Region. A region is a large area of land usually based on some common feature.
This is the wheat-growing region of the country.
Scrap. A scrap of something is a small amount of it.
Chris liked to use many scraps of paper when thinking up ideas.
Sector. A sector is a part of a country's economy in a specific type of industry.
We learned about just a few of the factories within the manufacturing sector.
Subscribe. To subscribe to something is to agree with it.
She subscribed to the view that musical education should be kept in schools.
Subsist. To subsist means to have the food, water, and money needed to stay alive.
Some people are forced to subsist on only a few dollars a month.
Suspend. To suspend something means to delay or stop it from happening for a while.
The oil company suspended production until it was sure the factory was safe.
Jewel. A jewel is a beautiful stone that is worth a lot of money.
A diamond is one of the most expensive jewels in the world.
Blacksmith. A blacksmith is a person who makes things out of metal.
The blacksmith pounded the piece of metal until it was flat.
Respective. When things are respective, they relate separately to each person just mentioned.
The boxers were told to return to their respective corners.
Route. A route is the way you go from one place to another.
I saw many new houses along the route to the city.
Synthesis. A synthesis is a combination of different ideas or styles.
The band's music was a synthesis of many different musical genres.
Aristocracy. The aristocracy is the highest class of people in certain societies.
Most members of the aristocracy were very well fed.
Mystery. A mystery is something that is difficult to understand or explain.
The path on the map was a complete mystery to me.
Decide. To decide is to make a definite choice.
He tried to decide which one to eat first.
Gazette. A gazette is a newspaper.
Alice wants to write for a gazette when she's older.
Acrobat. An acrobat is a person who entertains people by doing amazing physical things.
There were acrobats at the circus that did impressive and complicated jumps.
Major. A major event is a very important event.
There had been a major shift in government policy.
Partner. Your partner is someone who lives or works with you as an equal.
Ladies and gentlemen, take your partners for the next dance.
Denote. When one thing denotes another, it stands as a sign or substitute for that thing.
Quotation marks are used to denote speech.
Radiate. To radiate means to send out energy or heat.
The heat from the fireplace radiated throughout the room.
Advocacy. Advocacy is the act of supporting or recommending something.
Janine's strong advocacy for the event made people want to attend.
Adapt. To adapt means to change in order to deal with a new situation.
When he went to the new town, he had to adapt to all the weather changes.
Temporary. If something is temporary, it exists for a short time.
This car is only temporary. I'll get a new one soon.
Breadth. Breadth is the distance from one side to the other side of something.
The breadth of the northern wall of the house is 20 meters.
Desire. To desire is to want something.
My sister desires a big house and lots of money.
Communal. If something is communal, it involves a group of people.
On the weekends, Theo and his son picked up trash in the communal park.
Carriage. A carriage is a vehicle pulled by a horse.
We took a carriage ride in the park.
Artist. An artist is a person who paints, draws, or makes sculptures.
He went to Paris to become an artist.
Plunge. To plunge means to move down into something very quickly.
The water in the pool was very cold, but the boy plunged in anyway.
Shave. To shave means to cut the hairs on one's face with a sharp tool.
My father shaves his face every day because he doesn't want a beard.
Fluid. If something is fluid, it is smooth and moves gracefully.
Boris was a famous ballet dancer because people admired his fluid movements.
Strike. To strike people or things is to hit them.
She struck the other girl in the face.
Nuisance. A nuisance is a person or thing that is annoying or causes a lot of problems.
The teenager considered her noisy little brothers to be quite a nuisance.
Counterpart. A counterpart is something that is very similar to something else in what it does.
Our manager will meet our rival company's counterpart later today.
Soothe. To soothe means to calm someone who is angry or upset.
The mother soothed her crying baby by rocking him in her arms.
Harmonize. To harmonize means to make different things go well together.
The sweet and sour flavors of the dish harmonized well and tasted great.
Remote. A remote place is distant or far away.
He lived in a remote village in the Himalayas.
Journey. A journey is a long trip.
I went on a journey across the country with my parents.
Net. A net is a bag made of strong thread. It is used to catch animals.
The boy caught butterflies in his net.
Aristocrat. An aristocrat is a person who is of the highest class in certain societies.
The aristocrat did not need a job because his family was wealthy.
Industrious. If someone is industrious, they work hard.
Dennis was very industrious, so he never had problems finding a job.
Behave. To behave is to act in a particular way, especially to be good.
She always behaves well when her father is around.
Significant. A significant person or thing is important.
I read many significant novels as a literature major in university.
Scholarship. A scholarship is money given so someone can go to school.
I got a scholarship to help me pay for university.
Wet. A wet thing has water on it.
Since my dog was wet, he tried to shake all the water off his body.
Inventive. When someone is inventive, they are good at creating new things.
The inventive student built a robot to help her with her chores.
Convey. To convey is to communicate or make ideas known.
That picture of a crying child conveys a feeling of sadness.
Synthesis. A synthesis is a combination of different ideas or styles.
The band's music was a synthesis of many different musical genres.
Mandatory. If something is mandatory, then it is required by law.
It's mandatory that everyone be at least 16 to drive a car in the U.S.
Quite. Quite means that something is a certain way completely or very much.
I think typing on a keyboard is quite easy.
Divorce. Divorce is the process of ending a marriage.
Divorce rates have increased in the past 20 years.
Mandarin. Mandarin is one of the two main Chinese languages.
Although John's parents both spoke Mandarin, he could only speak English.
Tiny. A tiny thing is very small.
A baby's hand is tiny.
Share. To share something is to give some of it to another person.
Jimmy shared his apple with me.
Sleep. To sleep is to rest your mind and body, usually at night in bed.
The child goes to sleep in her bedroom at night.
Respond. To respond is to give an answer to what someone else said.
When the teacher asked the question, we all responded.
Mimic. To mimic something means to copy the way it sounds, moves, looks, etc.
The hunter mimicked a duck's call and shot the 2 ducks that called back.
Similar. Things which are similar are almost the same.
I have had a similar experience to the one you described.
Reflect. To reflect is when a surface sends back light, heat, sound, or an image.
Her face was reflected in the smooth glass.
Train. A train is a group of railway cars connected together.
The train is very fast, so we can get home in 1 hour.
Advocacy. Advocacy is the act of supporting or recommending something.
Janine's strong advocacy for the event made people want to attend.
Acrobat. An acrobat is a person who entertains people by doing amazing physical things.
There were acrobats at the circus that did impressive and complicated jumps.
Optimism. Optimism is the state of being hopeful about the future.
The mother had optimism about her children's futures.
Such. Such means like this.
I have never seen such a beautiful sunset before.
Misguided. When something is misguided, it is based on bad judgment or wrong beliefs.
The snake bit Molly during her misguided attempt to catch it.
Hunger is the feeling that you get when you need to eat.
After playing all day long, he was filled with hunger.
Therapy. Therapy is treatment for a particular physical or mental illness or condition.
After she broke her legs, she used physical therapy to learn how to walk again.
Occupation. An occupation is a person's job.
My father's occupation is a dentist.
Physical. If something is physical, it is related to your body and not your mind.
Biking is good for your physical health.
Fluid. If something is fluid, it is smooth and moves gracefully.
Boris was a famous ballet dancer because people admired his fluid movements.
Communal. If something is communal, it involves a group of people.
On the weekends, Theo and his son picked up trash in the communal park.
Rehearse. To rehearse means to practice and prepare for a performance in front of people.
Vic's band rehearsed all week before their first show.
Polite. Polite shows a thoughtful and kind behavior.
The boy was very polite. He behaved very thoughtfully.
Astrology. Astrology is the study of the stars in the belief that they influence people's lives.
Jack, who studies astrology, believes that the stars can predict the future.
Populate. If people populate an area, they live there.
Billions of people populate the earth.
Clean. To clean is to make something neat and tidy.
I clean our kitchen every Saturday.
Resourceful. A resourceful person is clever at using what resources they have.
Because he was very resourceful, he could make most of the things he needed rather than buying them.
Practitioner. Practitioner is a doctor.
She made an appointment with the practitioner to treat her cough.
Industrious. If someone is industrious, they work hard.
Dennis was very industrious, so he never had problems finding a job.
Courtyard. A courtyard is an outdoor area that is surrounded by the walls of a building.
During the summer, the courtyard is a nice place to have lunch.
Harmonize. To harmonize means to make different things go well together.
The sweet and sour flavors of the dish harmonized well and tasted great.
Widespread. Something that is widespread is spread widely across the world.
It is a widespread belief that colds are caused by cold weather.
Overcrowded. When a place is overcrowded, it has too many people or things in it.
The lobby was overcrowded with people.
Scorn. To scorn someone means to behave without respect toward them.
The criminal was scorned by everyone in the community.
Strange. A strange thing is unusual or surprising.
They are wearing strange masks.
Furniture. Furniture means the things used in a house, such as tables and chairs.
His living room only had a few simple pieces of furniture.
Vow. To vow means to make a promise to do something.
Before they are allowed to work, all senators must vow to never accept bribes.
Manifest. To manifest means to make something visible or obvious.
The joy of the holiday season manifested as bright smiles on the faces of the children.
Sensory. If something is sensory, it is related to the senses.
Iris and Eric preferred the sensory thrill of watching movies in the theater.
Inventive. When someone is inventive, they are good at creating new things.
The inventive student built a robot to help her with her chores.
Newcomer. A newcomer is a person who has recently arrived at a place or a group.
The students happily welcomed the newcomer to the school.
Mandarin. Mandarin is one of the two main Chinese languages.
Although John's parents both spoke Mandarin, he could only speak English.
Contaminate. To contaminate something means to put dirty or harmful chemicals into it.
The lake was contaminated when pollutants entered the water.
Mimic. To mimic something means to copy the way it sounds, moves, looks, etc.
The hunter mimicked a duck's call and shot the 2 ducks that called back.
Dye. To dye something is to make it a certain color by using a special chemical.
Valerie got her hair dyed at the salon yesterday.
World. The world is the earth, and all the people and things in it.
What are the names of the 5 oceans of the world?
Statute. A statute is a law that is official and has been written down.
The new statute made it illegal to walk dogs in the park.
Deficiency. A deficiency is a lack of something, especially something that is needed.
Your snack has a deficiency of any real nutrients.
Transform. To transform something is to change it in a very significant way.
The education system has been completely transformed.
Adhere. To adhere means to act in the way that a rule or agreement says is right.
If the new employees wish to succeed, they must adhere to the boss's rules.
Hazard. A hazard is something that could be dangerous to a person's health or safety.
Smoking cigarettes poses many health hazards.
Technical. Technical skill requires good control of technique.
Her technical skill was perfect.
Ladder. A ladder is an object that is used to climb up and down things.
He used a ladder to climb to the top of his treehouse.
Heredity. Heredity is the process of passing on features from parents to children.
The boy's face is similar to his father's because of heredity.
Moon. The moon is an object that travels around our Earth.
The moon looks beautiful tonight.
Shop. To shop is to visit places where goods are sold in order to look at and buy things.
Tom decided to shop for groceries on his way home.
Veteran. A veteran is someone who has a lot of experience doing something.
Hank was the team veteran and had completed more races than anyone else.
Hour. An hour is 60 minutes.
The man waited for the train for over an hour.
Misguided. When something is misguided, it is based on bad judgment or wrong beliefs.
The snake bit Molly during her misguided attempt to catch it.
Transmit. To transmit something means to pass it from one person or place to another.
The radio tower transmits a signal to all the radios in a 20-kilometer radius.
Provision. The provision of something is the act of giving it to people in need or want.
That department is responsible for the provision of emergency supplies.
Emphasis. When you put an emphasis on prevention, you give special attention to prevention.
The government placed a strong emphasis on educational reform.
Villain. A villain is an evil person who breaks the law or hurts others.
The villain made off with half of my family's valuables.
Clear. To clear is to remove everything from a place.
I need to clear my desk because it is too messy.
Rent. Rent is the money people pay to live in a certain place.
To live in this house, I have to pay rent at the start of each month.
Compassionate. When people are compassionate, they feel pity and sympathy for others.
The compassionate nurse tried to make the sick man feel comfortable.
Rehearse. To rehearse means to practice and prepare for a performance in front of people.
Vic's band rehearsed all week before their first show.
Resourceful. A resourceful person is clever at using what resources they have.
Because he was very resourceful, he could make most of the things he needed rather than buying them.
Giant. Giant means very big.
The giant truck got in my way.
Vine. A vine is a plant that has long, twisting stems and climbs upward.
The branches of the trees were covered with vines.
Imperative. When something is imperative, it is extremely important and must be done.
It was imperative for him to find a job.
Scream. To scream means to make a loud noise with your mouth.
The girl saw a spider and screamed.
Relative. A relative is a family member.
My relatives came by to see the new baby.
Scorn. To scorn someone means to behave without respect toward them.
The criminal was scorned by everyone in the community.
Reverse. When a car reverses, it goes backwards.
We reversed out of the parking place and then drove away.
Sensory. If something is sensory, it is related to the senses.
Iris and Eric preferred the sensory thrill of watching movies in the theater.
Statute. A statute is a law that is official and has been written down.
The new statute made it illegal to walk dogs in the park.
Technical. Technical skill requires good control of technique.
Her technical skill was perfect.
Veteran. A veteran is someone who has a lot of experience doing something.
Hank was the team veteran and had completed more races than anyone else.
Villain. A villain is an evil person who breaks the law or hurts others.
The villain made off with half of my family's valuables.
Vine. A vine is a plant that has long, twisting stems and climbs upward.
The branches of the trees were covered with vines.
Leave. To leave means to go away from someone or something.
He packed his bag and was ready to leave for home.
Administer. To administer means to take responsibility for organizing something.
The teacher's assistant will administer the test.
Proud. People who feel proud are happy about what they have done.
She is proud of the picture she drew of her house.
Regime. A regime is a system of government or management.
He was a member of the old regime that had been overthrown in the election.
Intestines. Intestines are tubes through which food passes after it leaves the stomach.
Whatever you eat goes into your intestines.
Stripe. A stripe is a thick line.
The flag of the United States has red and white stripes.
Lie. To lie is to say or write something untrue to deceive someone.
Whenever Pinocchio lied to his father, his nose grew.
Epidemic. An epidemic is an outbreak of a disease that spreads quickly.
It was difficult to stop the flu epidemic.
Critic. A critic is someone who gives opinions about movies, books, plays, etc.
The wine critic tasted the wine, so he could give his opinion.
Swim. To swim is to move through water.
I love to swim in the ocean.
Replenish. To replenish something means to make it full or complete again.
We planted nearly 100 seeds to replenish the garden after the fire.
Prospect. A prospect is a possibility that something will happen.
He wakes up every morning with the prospect of having a good day.
Thief. A thief is someone who quietly takes things that do not belong to them.
A thief broke into our home and took my mother's jewelry.
Institution. An institution is an organization that works to help a city or group of people.
Banks are vital institutions that businesses and people use every day.
Diabetes. Diabetes is a medical condition in which a person's body cannot control the level of sugar in their blood.
Overweight people are more likely to suffer from diabetes than slimmer ones.
List. A list is a record of information printed with an item on each line.
My mom makes a list of groceries to buy.
Cell. A cell is the smallest part of a living thing that can live by itself.
A red blood cell carries oxygen.
Surprise. To surprise is to cause something that is unexpected.
His parents decided to surprise him with a puppy.
Plumbing. Plumbing is the system of pipes used in a home to supply water.
When the plumbing stopped working, no one was allowed to use the toilets.
Sin. A sin is something that is wrong for religious reasons.
Taking something that doesn't belong to you is a sin.
Guard. To guard something is to take care of it.
The police officer will guard us from any harm.
Calculate. To calculate is to find an answer using math.
I calculated how much money I would need to buy the car.
Notion. A notion is an idea or belief about something.
I had a notion that this route would get us to the beach.
Magnet. A magnet is a piece of iron or other material which attracts iron toward it.
I used a magnet to pick up the nails that were scattered on the floor.
Hang. To hang something is to keep it above the ground.
I drew a picture of my family, and my mother hung it on the wall.
Starve. To starve is to not get enough food for a long period of time.
During the war, many people starved.
Furnish. To furnish means to put furniture in a house or room.
Most homes are furnished with tables, chairs, and beds.
Wrap. To wrap is to cover something on all sides.
I wrapped his gift and put a bow on it.
Phase. A phase is a stage in a process or the gradual development of something.
The first phase in the recycling project involves finding volunteers to help out.
Geography. Geography is the study of the earth, its land, weather, etc.
I had to draw a map for geography class.
Advice. Advice is an opinion about what to do.
I don't know how to study for my exams. Can you give me some advice?
Deck. A deck is a wooden floor built outside of a house or the floor of a ship.
A ship will store many supplies below its deck.
Coalition. A coalition is a group of people or organizations working for a common purpose.
The companies formed a coalition to make trade less expensive.
Passive. A passive person does not take action to solve problems.
Marcy is so passive that she never solves her own problems.
None. None means not any of something.
He spent all his money. There is none left.
Aware. If someone is aware, they know that something or a situation exists.
The student became aware that the teacher was watching him.
However. However means despite or not being influenced by something.
She is a great cook. However, she never had professional lessons.
Prehistoric. When something is prehistoric, it is from a time before written history.
The scientists found prehistoric pots used by the people in the area.
Lease. To lease means to rent property, usually an apartment or land.
When the family first leased the apartment, the rent was very low.
Contrast. A contrast is a sharp difference between two things.
The contrast between my parents is very noticeable.
Own. To own something means to have it. That thing belongs to you.
My grandfather owns that house.
Mountain. A mountain is a very high hill.
Mount Everest is the highest mountain in the world.
Compress. To compress something means to press or squeeze it so that it takes up less space.
I compressed my clothes to fit into a single suitcase.
Alarm. An alarm is something that warns people of danger.
When the students heard the fire alarm, they left the building.
Nation. A nation is a large area of land that is controlled by its own government.
India is a nation that is developing rapidly.
Metal. Metal is a strong material people use to build things.
Steel is a common metal that is used to build buildings.
Lion. A lion is a large animal in the cat family.
We went to see the lion at the zoo.
Postpone. To postpone something is to make it happen later than planned.
They postponed the meeting until Elena arrived.
Shine. To shine is to make a bright light.
The candles are shining in the dark room.
Prescribe. To prescribe medicine means to tell someone to take it.
When I was sick, the doctor prescribed me flu medicine for me to take.
Offense. An offense is behavior that is wrong or breaks a law.
Stealing a car is a very serious offense.
Outlook. An outlook is a person's opinion or way of thinking about something.
He changed his outlook about rats after he read a book about them.
Concern. Concern is a feeling of worry.
I was filled with concern after reading the newspaper.
Landing. A landing is when you return to the ground or another surface after a flight or a boat ride.
The man is in charge of leading the landing in the war zone.
Capital. A capital is a city where a country's government is based.
The capital of the United States is Washington, D.C.
Budget. A budget is the amount of money available to spend on something.
His budget for food was very tight.
Suicide. Suicide is the act of killing oneself.
Some people feel so sad that they think suicide is the only answer.
Biological. Biological describes the process of life and living things.
In science class, we learned about the biological process of bacterial growth.
Disappear. To disappear means to go away or not be seen.
The top of the building is disappearing in the clouds.
Ease. Ease is a condition without difficulty or hard work.
The monkey climbed the tree with ease.
Drop. To drop is to fall or allow something to fall.
A small amount of water dropped from the bottle.
Dormitory. A dormitory is a school building where students live.
I will move into the dormitory at the beginning of the school year.
Handle. A handle is the part of an object people hold while using it.
The pot is very hot, so pick it up by the handle.
Case. A case is an example of a particular situation or of something happening.
A deposit of $1,000 is required, but in this case, we will accept half.
Magnificent. Magnificent means beautiful and grand.
The man gave his wife a pair of magnificent diamond earrings.
Reveal. To reveal is to show something.
I will reveal where I hid the candy bar.
Debt. A debt is an amount of money that a person owes.
I have not paid my gas bill. I owe a debt to the gas company.
Maximum. Maximum is the highest amount of anything allowed.
The maximum driving speed here is 80 kilometers per hour.
Instructions. A set of instructions explains how to do something.
Just follow the instructions and you will be okay.
Seizure. A seizure is a sudden condition in which the body loses control and shakes.
Bright flashing lights can cause seizures in children.
Real. If something is real, it actually exists.
Some people don't believe in aliens from space, but I think they're real.
Definitive. If something is definitive, then it is the most official.
This library has the definitive collection of books on ancient Egypt.
Altar. An altar is a table used in churches.
The altar had many lit candles on it.
Document. A document is a written text, usually not in the form of a book.
Please scan this document so we have an electronic copy.
Loud. If a sound is loud, it is strong and very easy to hear.
The man's voice was so loud that we all could hear him.
Pneumonia. Pneumonia is a dangerous illness causing the lungs to fill with liquid.
Elaine got pneumonia after playing outside in the rain without a coat.
Invoke. To invoke something is to mention it to support an argument or ask for help.
Before going into battle, the soldier invoked the name of his god for protection.
Chop. To chop something means to cut it into pieces with a tool.
Mom chopped some vegetables to put into the stew.
Almighty. The Almighty is a name for a god in a religion.
Before eating, they thanked the Almighty for their food.
Opposite. If A is the opposite of B, A is completely different from B.
The opposite of black is white.
Talent. A talent is a natural ability to do something well.
Maria has a talent for playing the piano.
Driveway. A driveway is a short, private road that leads to a person's home.
The long driveway led us to their new house.
Commission. To commission someone is to pay that person to do some job.
The artist was commissioned to create a picture.
Voluntary. When something is voluntary, it is done by choice, but is not required.
Many people attended the voluntary boat safety class.
Cellular. When something is cellular, it relates to the cells of animals or plants.
She used a microscope to see the activity at a cellular level.